Oftentimes when we are trying to build something, not getting a call back from that person we wanted to speak to can stop a lot of people from wanting to move forward. Sometimes it's important to pause and breathe and give it some time.
Well, hello, Kirscha, and welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with gratitude because we always like to start everything with gratitude. So can you share with us 3 things that you are grateful for today?
3 things that I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for deep communication and the ability to be able to express myself to a supportive set of humans in my life. I'm grateful for the ability to feel the sun on my skin. I'm also very grateful to be able to connect and expand our soul's purpose, our soul's mission through the people we touch and the people we come together and collaborate with. And yeah.
That's so beautiful. It's, I read actually, I think it was a post. You posted something recently on Instagram, and it was about sort of what you're saying now, connection, community. It was so beautifully written. It was like our souls come here not just for ourselves or to create, but it's the people that we walk with and the souls that we walk with. And I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of manifestation and creating a life that you love, a fulfilling life. And I think I've moved, and I think a lot of people are moving from this, like creating from a ego, like me, what can I create for myself, to what is going to be really fulfilling is the connection, is the community, is serving other people, is loving other people. I would love to hear your thoughts about this, and maybe tell us a little bit about 5 Cents Collective, and maybe this will lead us into the journey of creating it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is something that has been told often before, which is that if you want to go at something, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go with each other, go together. And it's so true. You really do need community. And so often we kind of shrink into ourselves when we want to get something done or when we want to do something, and we don't always have to be alone in that experience. And I think it's so beautiful when we can lean on each other and we can share and grow and learn from one another. That's so important. And 5 Cents Collective was really born out of my personal desire for community that related to each other, that had like-mindedness, was interested in expanding themselves and also having awareness and intentionality around the earth and the way that we interacted with it. And so 5 Cents Collective really was created as a yearning for community that had this same value system, and creating a space that would hold each other and people can come together and meet and continue those relationships far and long after.
So, I mean, this is so beautiful. And I know that you started it very early on in your career, which I think a lot of people have ideas like this and then they just are fleeting ideas. It's like one day, but you actually acted on it. And I can't imagine that you had the vision of what it is today, because that is so big, and it's so, I mean, you have touched so many people, but I would love to hear your process and the journey of actually taking that thought, that desire to create a space for community. How did you actually make this happen?
Oh, that's such a great question. And you're absolutely right. I had no idea what it would lead into. I had a very, very powerful voice in my heart and my soul for a long, long time telling me that I was meant to do something bigger and something greater than myself. And I had worked, lots of different types of jobs actually as I was creating Five Sense Collective. I was still maintaining a 9 to 5.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
very much so. I was working, building websites and like creating copyright for health and wellness
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, lots of different companies. And so I was really kind of in a different direction. Um, but I'd also worked in this industry for quite a long time. I used to do acrobatic yoga, and
Mhm.
I created a process called relational healing, which I'd work with couples on the 3 pillars of relationships, which were physical touch, trust, and communication. And
Mm.
it really kind of led me down the road to beginning Five Sense Collective, and being more event focused as well.
The acrobatic yoga was part of the relationship.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So acro yoga, I don't know if you've ever done it before.
never.
You've
But
never
I
tried
mean,
it.
I've seen photos, but I'm like, I want to do that one day, but I don't even know where it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's something that you can do literally in the space of your own home with a partner, with
Oh,
a
I
friend.
thought you were like swinging from
That's
things.
aerial yoga.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
acrobatic is like you are
Okay.
on somebody's like feet and you're like using your body to kind of move, and it's all about counterbalance. And it's
Oh.
really incredible, these like postures that you can create that look so, complicated, but really it's all about breath and counterbalance, and it's really just it's fascinating.
And you do it with one person?
Yeah, I mean you could do it with more people, but yeah, one person is the best
So
way.
were you coaching couples, like
Yeah.
doing both and then also talking about the trust and
Yeah, because
oh,
a lot of your fears come up to the surface when your physical body is in somebody else's hands. They have the propensity to drop you, and so like it can muster a lot of emotions about feeling unsafe and building this trust and communicating each step so that everybody feels like they're together in the experience, in a really supported way, and it is really powerful.
wow.
And oftentimes, relationships that do end from a lack of communication, a lack of physical touch, and trust. So it was, yeah, kind of um, aligned.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing all these things. You have this vision. You're definitely like you're in the space, you're in the industry. But
Yes.
what, and I would love to hear this from both kind of like the tactical, strategy masculine side and also where manifestation and belief and like the feminine comes into play in creating this. Because I have to imagine it's both.
Yes, absolutely. So, Five Sense Collective, on the more feminine side of how it intuitively came to be, um, was something that I'd been dreaming up for a long time. And I didn't have a exact, structure of this is how it's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
It very much was something that I knew what it felt like. I could feel
Mm-hmm.
it in my bones. I knew what it was meant to feel like for people when they received it. And it was all more of like just energy that I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the way that how the space came to be is really something that I had no idea what it was going to lead to, but essentially, I had been hanging out with a girlfriend of mine who was a really practiced dream board expert. She actually did a dream board segment on the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Oh,
She's like,
wow.
yeah, she's like the best person to be doing dream boards
Is
with.
that a vision board? Same thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
pretty much. So my girlfriend Andrea Schroeder, she leads these vision board building experiences, and I'd never done one before. And strangely, when you've never experienced creating a dream board, it is kind of strange that you could go years of your life, or maybe even your entire life, not ever thinking about what it is that you really want. You
Hmm.
could be so focused around the world around you and what you've got to do on a day to day basis. And you can be focused on how you need to show up, the things you feel like you have to do, but you're not actually checking in, going, what is it that my soul really wants to achieve on this short amount of time that I have here on this planet? And it was the first time in my life that I actually sat down for a little over an hour and I was just like, what am I calling in
Hmm.
actually?
Hmm.
And so I, put together a beautiful dream board. And the following year, my girlfriend goes, instead of making dream boards physically, let's take a trip and go manifest what it is that we want to call in. And at this point in time, I was building Five Sense Collective. I had a vision of it being like a nonprofit organization or something that facilitated with helping and assisting with the environment. And I had no idea how to do this. And so I took to Google and I literally just typed in nonprofit organizations in Los Angeles. And I'm reading through all these sites and nothing's really popping up for me. And then I get to this one site for the Earthways Foundation. And it's this janky little website that is like not made for modern day eyes.
Yeah.
Like it's like ancient. That was like almost the first thing on the internet or something.
Oh my God.
Just like paragraphs and paragraphs and
Oh,
paragraphs.
geez.
And I was like, I'm going to read this. And I read through it and it spoke to me. And it was like something connecting to me. And I'm like,
What was it? What was it about?
it was about the earth and our spiritual connection with the earth and also safekeeping the land. This nonprofit organization is really focused on protecting our environment, preserving indigenous communities around the world and their education. And the words were so beautiful, which obviously is a testament to Andrew Beath, who is the founder of the Earthways Foundation.
Mhm.
He's also an author and an environmentalist and just really beautiful articulating words.
Mhm.
And so it really spoke to me deeply in the mission that I had felt called to.
And sorry, where in the process of building Five Sense were you? Had you already done anything, or this was really in the beginning?
This was really in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
I would go to my 9 to 5 job. I'd come home, and from like 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning, I would be just thinking about Five Sense Collective and building my website. And again, I knew what I wanted it to feel like, and I was just trying to create it before actually physically understanding what it was.
Perfect manifestation tactic right there.
Exactly.
The feeling and putting something out there, like acting as if it's coming.
Yes. And so I'd reached out to the Earthways Foundation. I called them and I said, I left a voicemail saying, hi, I'd like to chat with you at some point. 3 weeks go by, I don't hear back. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, like, maybe I'm supposed to move on. But something was like, don't give up on this particular person. Like it feels aligned to you.
Yeah.
This organization feels aligned to me and the words. So I really have to stay strong to that. And I think this is also a really important part of the journey for me and could also help other people as well, because oftentimes when we are trying to build something like not getting a call back from that person we wanted to speak to, or not being able to connect with somebody or get the information or the research that you need to do something, can stop a lot of people from wanting to move forward. And also, oftentimes we don't go with the flow of what the universe is creating for us, and we want to bypass it and just go straight to the next thing, and we can miss out on beautiful opportunities like that. And it's just an important lesson, at least for me, that sometimes it's important to pause and breathe and give it some time. I'm not saying you need to wait years of your life for something to come in
Mm,
your direction to
no.
make you do the next step. But
No, I love that. And I think about something that, do you know Abraham Hicks? Do you follow?
yes.
Yeah. So the last Abraham Hicks seminar I went to, she was like, well, they were like through Esther Hicks saying, we're about to say the most important thing that we're ever going to say. And it's this. If an idea comes to you and it feels like a good idea, that means it's a really good idea, and stick with it. Even if you don't get the call back, stick with it. There was something that felt right about it. Keep going with that.
Mm, yes. Yes. If it speaks to your soul, there is a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely a reason. But so the next part of the journey is I'm stepping onto this plane to go on this manifestation trip with my friend.
Wait, a manifestation trip. How did
Yeah.
she even because I want to go on one, but also what is this? Are you experiencing all the things that you want to experience? And it's like, you're just like embodying it through like traveling to different places. Like what does this actually mean?
Yeah, so this manifestation trip was about going to a destination that was really peaceful and visually supportive. So we chose a really gorgeous location. It was in Tulum in Mexico, and it was so beautiful. And everything was just about surrounding ourselves in nature and just like helping down regulate the nervous system, just chill and kind of have the time and create and carve out the time in the day to just journal, think, align, and just like call in. So that was the whole idea of this trip, was actually just carving time to be present for what it is that we wanted to call in this year. So
And Tulum, there's also like the grounds of, where that is on this planet, right? There's a lot of spiritual meaning to, maybe you'll touch on that, but.
Yeah, definitely. There is a lot of beautiful cultural Mayan history there, and absolutely. So as I'm stepping on the plane and literally have my phone in hand and I'm turning it off, I get a phone call and something tells me to just answer the call, even though I'm in a noisy airplane. I pick it up and it's the founder of the Earthways Foundation. Weeks later, sorry, I never checked this voicemail. So just got your call and I'd be happy to meet with you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm leaving the country right now. But as soon as I'm back, let's meet.
The timing.
The timing.
Oh my God.
The timing. Yeah, it was just absolutely wild. So I go on this amazing trip. I come back. I meet Andrew Beath, who's the founder of the organization. And he is such an incredible person, the work that he's done. And he's been such an important figure in my life. And I had no idea how important of a figure in my life he would be at that moment. But I guess my soul knew. So I developed a friendship with him and in a mentorship with him. And over the course of the next year, every month I would attend his environmental panels where his community would gather to talk about ecological issues that were occurring and ways that we can come together to resolve them as our own purpose in our own communities, and how to spread conscious awakenings within the world and smaller communities to ripple outward. And
where were these held?
These were held in Malibu.
Okay.
So in the same space that I host,
Yeah.
Five Suns Collective's Malibu location. So after about a year of attending these events, Andrew had offered me a part of his property to use as facilitation for Five Suns Collective and to use the space there.
Did you ask him or
no, I did not ask him. I didn't even know that this little area of the property existed. I'd never strolled down.
But he knew what you were trying to create.
He did.
Okay.
He knew my vision. He was my mentor. So I would talk to him frequently about my visions and what I wanted to do. But it really came from him, and it was the greatest blessing There's been, and it's also such an honor because there have been so many other artists and healers that have passed through that land long before my time there. In fact, a gentleman named Floyd Westerman, who's a Native American from the Sioux tribes, he used to lead a sweat lodge on this land for about 10 years. And it wasn't until his passing that we were invited to facilitate healing there on the land. So it feels like we are carrying this tradition. And it also feels like everybody who comes onto this space and has a journey with us is also so supported by generations that came before us and all the work that happened before.
Oh my gosh, I'm just full goosebumps.
And
Wow.
the cherry on top was after years of working there, Andrew's stepson arrived on the property one day, and he is my now husband.
Who I just met, and
Yeah.
who is so lovely, and you guys are so cute, by the way.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Yeah, so you never know. This one intuitive thing that comes inside of you and shakes your soul and speaks to you, it could really connect all the dots to your life's unfolding. And I just say go for it.
Oh. I have so many thoughts on this and so many questions, but I really want to talk about first this space that you've created, Five Sense Collective. And can we talk about who it's for and what you do and how maybe it's evolved since you initially, or since he kind of let you use the land, and what that looked like?
Yeah, so really it's made for ceremony, small groups, larger groups. We have a lot of couples that come in. We have a lot of families that come in. It's used for celebrations, honoring of milestones. We just had a ceremony last night for a wedding anniversary for a lovely couple.
Oh.
And
how many people can it fit?
it can fit up to 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So depending on the group type, I'll kind of augment how many people I think should fit in the space, because we do a lot of corporate ceremonies as well.
Yeah.
And oftentimes in those environments, there's people that are being brought in from all over the planet. They don't necessarily want to be shoulder to shoulder with each other, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So we like to make sure that everything is customized for your own ability to go deep within yourself, and feeling comfortable with that.
So the space itself, can you describe what it looks like? I mean, people are going to go look, and I'm sure your Instagram is so beautiful, but like, how did you design it, and what was the intention behind the space itself?
Yeah, so the space is a geodesic dome, and it is overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The interior is all soft, plush, earth tones, natural textures that kind of just feel very soft on the eye. Our eyes are typically used to looking at edges, ridges, rectangles, squares. We see where lines end and where they begin. And the beauty of this space is that it is a circle. It is energetically designed to support community and communication and openness. It's like a womb. It's a very, very nurturing space. One thing that I love to share is that we actually have a lot of men's groups that come in there to host their meetings. So while it is a very feminine feeling energy in this space, it also very much supports masculinity. And this has really just blown my mind over the years.
There's something my grandfather would always say. My grandparents lived right like on the same property as us. We would go and have dinner there 2 or 3 times a week, or they'd come over. But they had this big round table, and my grandfather would always talk about how his whole life, or his whole adulthood, he made sure that they had a round dining table because of exactly what you were saying. Everyone has an equal opportunity to speak. Everyone can connect with anyone else at the table. You don't feel isolated in the corner. But and now I've always had a round dining room table too, or a round outside table. And I love that because it really does feel like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't actually realize how much our visual world is impacting our brain chemistry and the way that we
Mm-hmm.
feel. And like, for example, if you, when I go to New York, and God bless New York, I love New York, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, when I'm there, I feel like I have to actually look up to see the sky, and
Yeah.
it can feel so suffocating. Um, and this is also another reason I prefer to not be in the city, is because I feel like the beauty of architecture is not necessarily shown in some of these cities. It's everything is just like big building, big building, big building, big building,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
where is the creativity um, behind what we are actually capable of doing? We have
Mm-hmm.
such amazing brains and such amazing technology. Why aren't we able to really lean into that and create something different,
Mm-hmm.
and spaces that are really soft on the eye and promote your connection to nature? Because
Mm-hmm.
naturally, as humans, we connect deeply with environments that emulate nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's very regulating for
Mm.
us. So, yeah, I wish to see more of that.
Yeah. Can you share with us like what this could look like if someone wanted to create, a space in their home that more emulates nature? What are the things that we should think about incorporating or maybe letting go of? Like what
Mhm.
is it that creates a space that does harmonize with our energy and regulate our nervous system and maybe help us like create our best lives?
Yeah, so definitely my number one is declutter,
Mm.
because a cluttered space is a reflection of an a cluttered mind
I
oftentimes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I even like, I notice in myself just through my life, if I've ever gone through a tragic loss or something is deeply, you know, unsettling in my personal world, the first thing that happens is like maybe I forget to make my bed, and my space slowly is like decluttered, and it's very reflective of our internal states. So
Mm,
I think
mhm.
one little thing that you can do for yourself every day is wake up in the morning and make your bed.
Yeah, and there's so many other like psychological reasons for that too. It's like
Yes.
you already feel accomplished first thing, but then it's the space itself. I know, me too. I
Yeah.
always make my bed, and my husband never makes it. And when I'm gone and stuff, I'm like, "Don't you want it like nice?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "No, because I'm just gonna get back
Oh
right back
no.
in and go to sleep." I'm like, "Oh
If
my
that's
god."
the case, I will not visit that room for the
Yeah.
rest of the day. Like, I
Yeah.
can't see it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't see it.
So decluttering, I mean, obviously people know Marie Kondo and just getting rid of stuff, but it's more than just like getting rid of stuff. What is decluttering?
Um, I would say organization is a big part of that,
Mm.
like putting things where, they could belong together, and not having things just sprawled out
Yeah.
everywhere all the time. And also being aware that if you are not utilizing something, at least for clothes, I have a rule. If you haven't worn something in 6 months, especially in California where the weather is always kind of
Yeah.
consistent,
Yeah.
then donate it.
I know. I know.
And same thing with like objects that just they don't energetically serve you. It's okay to give it up.
I
It's all right.
know. I know.
Um, so I think that is a really great way to begin the journey of like easing the
Totally.
space.
There's like, and then I used to be not a hoarder, but like I would keep all the cords to all the things, you know?
Oh,
And
yes.
there was something someone said, and it just was like, I'm like, oh my God. Because I had this like two great drawers that were just filled with cords. someone was like, you can get any of those on Amazon for like $2. If you even end up needing it, you probably don't need that one that was for the like 2008 iPhone, And I just got rid of all of them, and it's like so freeing. And I've never needed, or I've like replaced one from Amazon, and it's there that day,
I saw this meme recently, or it wasn't that recent, but I saw this meme that was like, this is just a heads up for all the millennials that you don't have to keep your iPhone box that your phone came in. Like, you can actually throw that away. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. Yeah, I did a recent also closet purge. I was also one of those people who was like, okay, but what if there's a costume party and it is like 80s theme, and then they have like a jean, and my friend came over and I ended up putting all that stuff. She's like, that you need to get rid of. She's like, just put it in your attic. And this was 8 months ago. I'm like, but I'm going to need them all. I don't even know what's in there.
Yeah.
I got rid of half of my stuff in my closet. I don't need any of it.
Yeah.
I don't miss one thing.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy how we do that.
Yeah. Okay, so decluttering, organization, it's a reflection of our internal state. When we think about manifestation and more from the creating a life that feels really aligned and feels really good, not the like things on the vision board coming, but just more of like that, the feeling. Why is your space so important?
That is a beautiful question. So the space that you live in and interact in is constantly in communication with you, and it is reminding you every day of who you are and what your mission is and what you came to do here. And there's little things that you can do that can help you call in your higher self, your more aligned self, and just allowing those things to reflect in your space can keep you motivated, can keep you incentivized to keep going. And this can come in the form of framing pictures of things you love, whether it was a beautiful vacation and a moment where you're just so happy and blissed out. You want to create more of that in your life. By having that picture there in your home, it's a reflection of your happiness, and you want to create more of this energetic vibration. Like, that is you. So things you love, your family, your pets, beautiful photographs of things that you love. So that's one way of doing it. The other is through art. And it doesn't have to be, super expensive art. It can be you were on a walk and you saw this beautiful branch and you wanted to keep it in your home and place it in a way that looks beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So little things that remind you of your creativity, the things you love, the things you want to call in, alignment, really just helping raise your personal vibration, because we all can get lost and get down on ourselves.
Yeah. So it's not just like getting the restoration hardware furniture because it's nice. It's about creating a space that's a reflection of who you want to be.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on like fake plants versus real plants and bringing nature into your home?
Yeah. I personally don't really like fake plants, but there's some environments where somebody might not have access to natural light. And I think at that stage, if, plants still impact the way that we feel. That's a really tough one for me, because I don't have any fake plants. I could get the urge. I can understand the urge to want to have them if there's not a lot of access to natural light in this space, or you're just not able to keep them alive. I totally get that. But there's the other part of it where I'm like, I kind of just don't like the plastic of it either. Like, that can't be.
It feels different. It feels different energetically when there's real live plants in your space. Like it
Yes.
is a feeling for me. It's not even
Yeah,
the look of it at all. Like I can feel it feels, I don't know, like m- more grounding, more like there's something about that.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to Five Sense Collectives, and I know that you have lots of different offerings besides just being able to do ceremonies and kind of retreats and stuff in the actual space. Are you still doing the design services?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So we are curating spaces in people's homes. Or we also, a big part of what we do is curating offsite experiences for companies and bringing in the design aspect of
Mm.
that. We get a lot of calls of people wanting to do like a corporate retreat or just employee appreciation. And we'll set up a really beautiful space where they can just spend the day there and have talks and team bonding, and that I think is really fun.
Like, do
Love
you do
doing that.
this ever? Like, where do you do this?
So sometimes we are brought into their corporate environment, so
Mm.
like the office,
Oh, wow.
and there's like just a random kind of
Boardroom?
boardroom, yeah,
And
and
well, yeah, tell us
And
about
we'll
what you
just
do.
fully transform the boardroom into a blissful haven. You would not ever expect it to be a boardroom.
Like, what do you bring in?
Um, Lots of fabric and lots of rugs and soft materials, florals, you name it. We bring it.
Do you get to be there when the employees walk in and
Oh
see it?
yeah,
Are they
yeah.
just like, what?
Yeah, they're blown away. They're
Oh,
totally blown
cool.
away. We did this. One of my most favorite ones that we've done was it was for Gatorade for the Super Bowl. Um, it was at the Edition Hotel in West
Oh,
Hollywood,
yeah.
and they're like, "Okay, here's your space." And we like walk into this boardroom. We're like, "Oh no!" And then yeah, it was one of the most beautiful spaces because there was also a lot of natural light and
Is
um,
this on your Instagram?
yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
It's
Oh
on there
my
somewhere. You might
gosh.
have to dig around a little bit.
And how do people find you? Because I've seen you've done collaborations with so many, I mean, celebrities and corporations and big business, but just like, do you do a lot of marketing or do people come to you, find you? Word of
Yeah,
mouth, I assume, is huge.
yeah. So I have never done any marketing, and part of me is like, why? Why have I not? But at the same
You've
time,
been needed to.
something feels really good about the fact that the entire community has been such an authentic, slow growth of word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that feels so nice. It feels so organic. Um, and so, yeah, any company I've ever worked with was because they came knocking on my door, which has been a blessing. I'm so, so grateful.
Wow. So what is next? Do you still like has the vision come to life or is there a next vision? Like um how do you practice manifestation now and thinking about like what you want to create next?
Mm. So I love to share about how I create because it's something that I learned from my mom, and I've been doing it my whole life with her.
Hmm.
So my mom is from Peru, and
Oh.
she's a very beautiful spiritual lady, and I come from a long line of women who are very, very spiritual. And she would always take me to the beach, and she would say, "Kirscha, take off your shoes and go find either rocks or the sand, or get into the water. And you're going to lift up your arms up towards the sky, and you're just going to say thank you and describe what it is that you already have that you want to call in." But like, so if you want, for example, she would say, if you want to have more adventures and take more vacations.
Mhm.
Like, thank you for this adventurous, beautiful life that
Mhm.
I have. I'm constantly taking amazing trips, and it's just so fruitful and exciting, and I'm so inspired.
Oh my God, I love your mom. Yes. Yes.
So I've been doing that since I was young, and
Going into the
really,
ocean and doing this whole thing? Or
yeah, yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Or even just like going for a walk. I love walking, so I'll
Me
go
too.
into nature, I'll go for a hike, I'll just go into the woods somewhere. And really it's just like I don't have to, make it this
Yeah.
whole crazy
Yeah.
thing, but it's more of just like me connecting with the earth and saying thank you. Thank you for this next experience. I actually have used this method to like create jobs. And I mean this in a way which is like I would feel like, okay, I just completed this really big project and I'm like, oh, that was fun. I want
Yeah.
to do it again. What's
Yeah.
next? When is it? I get a little bit like restless. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah.
When's the next project? And sometimes if I feel like I want to call something in, I'll just go into nature and I'll just say, thank you for this next big experience. Like this job is amazing and it's like bigger than anything I've done before. And sometimes it's been like 2 days later and it's like ring,
Yeah.
ring, ring. And it's the most insane thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I had one
I
recently. It
love
was
it.
like, I just got a phone call and I'm like, Chanel just called. They want us to put a whole series together for them for their show in Los Angeles, and it was like mind blowing. Like things you
Did you
wouldn't
already do
believe.
it?
I did it. Yeah,
Oh my God.
it was
How was
amazing. It
it?
was great. It was so much fun. It was just amazing
And how
to.
did they find you?
A friend told them about us.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
just like word of mouth.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was great.
goodness. So do you know what's next for you?
Right now, I am actively in kind of a restructure period where I'm thinking a lot about how I want to take next steps and what I want to do. Again, I know what I want it to feel like, and I have an idea of what I want. But I don't have it fully like carved out. I feel
Yeah.
like it's better to be open and to allow shifts to change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, this has been incredible. There's so much that I want to reflect on, and it's so beautiful what you've created. I'm so excited because I told you my husband and I are going to go
Yes,
on
I'm so
Thursday for our date
excited.
night, and it's going to be can you tell us about like Thursday what a ceremony could look like? And this one is going to be a
Yeah.
sound bath, and right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a sound ceremony. I typically don't use the word sound
Oh,
bath.
sorry.
No,
Okay.
that's
Oh,
okay, and
yeah.
there's a reason for it. I feel like the typical sound bath is oftentimes like just like for me at least it feels like a cluster of
Like pouring
sounds.
water, like sound on you.
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
like it's not designed, it's not like a thoughtful kind of
Yeah, I see
unraveling
that.
of sounds
Yeah.
that, kind of take you on a wave where
Mm.
I very much design the sound to take you on a complete journey and bring you back safely and softly into your body.
Oh,
That is the most important part is that the spiritual practice that we have, if we have one, is a very personal practice. It's a very personal experience. Spirituality is personal.
Yeah.
And we're just simply creating an environment where you can have this experience and come back to yourself and have that moment with yourself because that's what's important. So yeah, the experience you'll be coming into is going to be full ceremony with energetic clearing. There's going to be some guided meditation, sound experience, of course, and then throughout the sound journey, we have some beautiful hands-on work. It's going to integrate some Ayurvedic touch, some of the marma points. These are some spaces in the body that hold a lot of moving energy, and energy can tend to get stuck there. So there'll be that. And then there's a beautiful integration and closing. And I skipped our intention setting, but that's also included in there. So it's going to be a beautiful experience. And of course, we will rise to the sunset.
Oh, Amazing. Well, are there any last words? Oh, actually, can you share how people can follow you, connect with you? I'll put it all in the show notes too. But
Yeah, yeah. Our Instagram is at 5 Cents Collective, all
Mhm.
spelled out.
Mhm.
And the best way to get in contact with us is just sending us an email.
Okay.
And if there's one thing that I would share with anybody who is feeling like creating a new path and ready to step into something, is listen to your gut, listen to your intuition,
Mhm.
and being authentic to your journey is the most important thing that you can do. And that means needing to say no when it's time to say no. And no matter how much of a missed opportunity it might feel like to say no, or how uncomfortable it might make you to say no, saying no to things that do not align with your values is the greatest blessing, because there are things that do align with what it is that you're trying to create, and they will gravitate towards you um, as you create that vibrational force. So
Oh,
that's most important.
that's so beautiful. And I know that someone listening is going to need to hear those words right now. So thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much.
This was awesome.